Something that I disagree with him on many things, but I agreed when he said we're two nations. And I always say he could have said more, but in essence, there was still the idea of the oppressed and the oppressors who are now having to reform, having to apologize, having to take stock, and many people were not. And many white South Africans were saying, the National Party were lying to us, we didn't know what was going on, I was out of the country, I was too young, I didn't know, I never voted the National Party, we heard that a hell of a lot, and somehow the National Party kept getting in the whites only elections, but there's nobody who actually voted for them. It was very strange. So I did this. Whites who never benefited from apartheid. And that is in fact the best cartoon I've ever done on that subject. I live in Cape Town, people say, oh nice, being a cartoonist, you can write a line on a piece of paper and then go to the beach. It's theoretically possible, but that's not how it happens. I have many ideas, many ideas. I've had much drawing, many words, and I suddenly realized that one line and the rest of it blank, it says more about the fact that every white person then, compared to every black person, and now still benefited and continues to benefit from apartheid. And it's something that we absolutely have to take stock of. It's going to take generations to change that. I can't even see by when that's going to be erased. So it's a very important thing. Now, I've mentioned Jacob Zuma once. At this point, there's so many things I could show you about Jacob Zuma. I'm going to jump over a number of, like the earliest cartoon I did about Jacob Zuma's corruption was in 2002, which is quite amazing. Not because I knew more than anyone else, I was reading what my investigative journalist friends were writing. But by 2006, he was also charged with rape. At the end of the rape trial, and he was lucky to get off, he sued, he was acquitted, and he sued a whole lot of people and entities in media, including me. There were 63 million rands worth of charges. My part in that was 15 million rand, which is a ridiculous amount, almost a quarter of the whole thing. And so by far the biggest chunk. And it was also some sort of world record. No cartoonist has ever been sued before then or even after for anything more than $1 million US. This was the equivalent of $2 million US. And it's nothing really because no money ever changed hands. But that's what he thought he could do. This guy who was trying to become president. My response: I'm suing for damage to my reputation. Would that be your reputation as a disgraced chauvinistic demagogue who can't control his sexual urges and who thinks a shower prevents AIDS? My editors at The Independent, in the days when The Independent was still sort of a newspaper, group, were very worried about this, especially because if you look here, those three cartoons were the three cartoons that he was actually suing me for. And I said, I want to put them back in print. They said, do you have to do that? I said, yes, because we cannot back down. That lawsuit was eventually dropped 6 years later, but he pursued us right into his presidency. And he tried to get an apology. I obviously refused to apologize. And then there were many, the other thing, yes, that's what I was going to say. By this time, that drawing over there, you might not be able to see very well, is a drawing that's got a shower on Jacob Zuma's head. Because of what he said in testimony, he said he'd had a shower after this supposed consensual sex with this woman he knew to be HIV positive. He admitted she was HIV positive. Why did he have a shower? To lessen his chance of infection. Jacob Zuma had been head of the National AIDS Program when he was deputy president. So he obviously should have known better, and that suggested the shower. In this drawing, he doesn't have a shower. When I did this drawing, a whole lot of people said to me, where's the shower? And I realized I had a fixture, so to speak. So from then onwards, it was always the shower, and there's a whole lot of things that had happened around it. By 2007, Zuma had somehow managed to get off being charged when his financial advisor, Sheikh, had actually been jailed for bribing him. But Zuma wasn't charged by none other than Benoni. By 2007, Zuma was trying to become national president. Tava Mbeki, who was protecting his police commissioner, Jackie Salebi, at the time. We all knew he was corrupt. Mbeki seemed quite aloof